Hi guys, quick walk around of my 1984 Bronco with a 300 inline 6 and a granny 4-speed. I bought the truck in Phoenix, Arizona in spring of 2020 and have had kind of a lot of fun with it since. It's got a recently built block. It's a pretty near factory block, oversized Chevy 194 and 160 valves. It's a factory cam installed about 4 or 5 degrees advanced. That's a Motorcraft 2-barrel, roughly 290 CFM carb with a couple of adapters under there to make it all fit. This is a Mr. Gasket of some kind. That is no, it's a Transdapt. That's a Ford water heat 2-barrel spacer that doesn't currently have water going to it. Then there's a wooden spacer, and then onto the bottom of the carburetor. And then I needed a 1/2-inch aluminum spacer to clear the water box back there with the air cleaner. I'm running Duraspark 2 ignition, which is mostly factory, other than having been recurved by Bill Ambler. The alternator is a 3G 130 amp. I think that's pretty much it in the engine bay. The rear axle got rebuilt in 2021 in the spring. It's an 8.8. I lost the pinion bearings, basically rebuilt it with a Detroit True Track from Eaton, which so far has worked out really well. It's not listed on their application tables, but it can be done with a special axle spacer. That's the only custom part. Otherwise, it's the same as putting it into an 86 axle, for example. Moving around to the back here, I've had some ongoing trouble with my tailgate, but I've had bigger fish to fry for about the last year, so the panel stays off so that I can open the tailgate. This is an F-150 bed mat that I cut about 10 inches off of and rolled in. It gives me pretty close to a 6-foot bed in the back, which I find useful because it's, you know, it's just me and my girlfriend. We don't have anyone else to put in the car with us, so 2 seats is plenty. The ammo can is my spare parts box. The cloth sack is my roadside toolkit. And then I've got water, oil, and a little tire pump behind the spare tire bracket there. There's also in the front of the bed right up there, there's a little wooden platform where the rear floorboard's supposed to go, and I keep things like, well, normally my jumper cables would be under there, and you know, stuff like that, stuff that you want but you don't want to have to look at all the time. So the interior's kind of a mixed bag. It's an Arizona truck, so lots of sun damage. Most of the plastic didn't do that well. You know, of course, the rubber floor mats are pretty much trash. The seats are in okay condition considering their age, but I really need to get a seat cover on, especially the driver's seat. This is, I think, a GM center console, but it gets us a 3rd seat with a seat belt and a better armrest, in my opinion, than the factory piece. This was a this truck had the dealer installed cruise control. That's no longer working since I've redone the carburetor and the computer's gone. To the side here, we've got a vacuum pressure gauge, or a manifold vacuum gauge, excuse me. That is a manual or mechanical oil pressure gauge. There's the manual choke knob, and this is a air-fuel ratio meter from Innovative. The radio's gone. It's been replaced with a radio delete bezel, probably from a heavy-duty truck, or you know, one of the base model trucks that wouldn't have had a radio. Then the radio itself is gone, but I do still have sound coming from the little amplifier here in the passenger floorboard. It's a Bluetooth amp, so it hooks right into the phone, and you know, no one's any the wiser. Looks like there's no radio, but it's got about 215 miles on it since the engine rebuild. I'm still looking at some small issues like maybe a rogue coolant leak, carburetor tuning, vacuum. The transmission and the transfer case got rebuilt while the engine was out, and I've got a little bit of a leak in the transfer case front output to the front axle, so that's going to have to come back down sooner than later to get fixed up. But yeah, this video, hope you enjoyed it. It's made for the guys at Gary's Garage Mahal and Ford 6 who have done so much to help me out with this vehicle. And I know a lot of you have seen this vehicle in little bits and pieces and snapshots and descriptions over the last 2 years, so I hope you enjoy getting to see a little bit more of it. Thanks.